Thank you, Ann. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. If you would all please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good morning. It is August 8th. This is the...
Nick gonna be here?
Nope. And I'll make that announcement here in just a minute, Franklin. I'm letting people know just the basics that we have to for the minutes. So this is August 8th. It is the Broadwater County Commissioners General Business Meeting. And before we get started, just a little bit of housekeeping. Nick Korthals is absent today as he is home ill. We do follow Robert's Rules of Order and an open meeting process and a civility policy. The purpose of these is to keep all Broadwater County meetings open to all Broadwater County citizens. We realize we have a fiscal and fiduciary responsibility to conduct county business as efficiently as possible for all our residents. Commission meetings are recorded and are on YouTube, so please state your full name prior to any public comment for the record. Any separate conversations need to be removed from the meeting and conducted outside. Outbursts will not be tolerated. Public comment will give each person who wishes to speak an initial 3 minutes to do so, and all comments should be directed to the board chair. So with that, good morning. We'll go ahead and start with public comment. Good morning, Patrick. Thanks for coming.
Good morning, Commissioners. Patrick Webb with Southwestern Field Representative for Senator Steve Daines, and visited with you folks probably, it's got to be 5 months ago or something like that in Three Forks when there was a meeting down there, and I'm ashamed to say I haven't been able to come to many commission meetings since then. So I'm here today just to give a brief update with some things that the Senator has been up to while he's been here back in Montana during recess, and then see if there's anything that the Commission would like me to look into, any issues that are going on during this meeting that I might be able to help out with in the future. So recess is kind of a funny term because Senator Daines is still really busy. He was back in Bozeman last week and helped launch Uber in Bozeman, which is a ride-sharing service that the Montana legislature recently passed to be able to operate in Montana. So he was driven by Representative Zolnikoff in Bozeman as the first passenger. And so that's kind of cool. That's going to provide some more economic opportunity for people in Bozeman to be able to make some extra income on the side. Senator Daines was meeting with a couple different tribal groups up at MSU, trying to listen to some of the issues that they're concerned about. And then we recently had a op-ed in the Montana Standard focusing on forestry reform. That's been a big issue this year. Legislation's been really tied up in DC, and that includes the Land and Water Conservation Fund that we're big advocates of. Trying to get that through as well. And Senator was over in Hamilton viewing the Roaring Lion wildfire, and there was one person that was killed because of that fire. I'm not sure if that was a citizen or firefighter, but one did claim the life of one person, and just increases the need every single time something like that happens to get some good forestry reform and be able to treat these catastrophic wildfires as other types of emergencies. So that's kind of the big thing on the Senator's table right now is forestry reform. I'll be heading back here in September. We have a staff training where our DC staff is coming down. So next week I'll be meeting with them, talking with them about some projects I'm working on. So this is a good opportunity if you have issues that you would like me to talk to them about. I'll be seeing them in person. So that sometimes helps because they're often the policy experts, and I kind of just have the shotgun approach to everything. So yeah, I'm here to listen to the commissioners and take any comment. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, Franklin?
No, I don't believe I do.
I was hoping to visit, introduce myself to Commissioner Korthals, but it sounds like he's not feeling good today.
Yeah, we're in the middle of the budget season too, so it's a tough time to be down one.
Right.
Yeah, so if you're gonna be in the area, we'll hopefully be meeting again this week to kind of catch up on what we won't be able to do today.
Okay.
I'd be happy to give you a call, and if you're close by, have you come on in.
That'd be great. I
Okay.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Patrick, I have a couple of questions for
Sure.
you. PRIA and SORNA. PRIA is the Prison Rate Elimination Act, and SORNA is the reporting that we do for law enforcement. Because of issues out of our control here in Montana, because of our rural nature and some of the other pieces to our puzzle, we cannot comply with some of the federal regulations that are very easily applied to New York City, but not so easily adaptable to Montana. Is there anything on the horizon for us? We're looking at losing about 10% of our funding for either of those because of these differences between big city and rural USA. Anything on the horizon, anything you can share with us about that?
I'm not sure off the top of my head. I would have to visit with our staff on that. If it's something that's out of the county's control, it seems like there should be something that we can do to.
It's actually a state issue, and then of course, you know, the money goes from the feds to the state, cut by 10% because of these issues that we're not New York City, and then that money going from the state to the counties is cut. So, yeah, it's a Broadwater County issue, and 55 other county have the same issues. It's really a state issue.
Is there an opportunity for like grant funding to fill some of that back?
That's what we're missing. That's what we're losing is the grant funding.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there isn't any stopgap. There isn't any hole fillers because it all comes down to Montana cannot meet some of the requirements because we just are not big enough.
Right, and so would this be something that would be changed in the state legislature, or would it be changed by changing federal regulation?
Federal Congress.
Well, I'd be happy to look into it. It might,
Okay.
I would imagine if you guys are facing problems with it, that there's many other counties in Montana that are also. And I can tell you, I've been around touring some of the jails in southwestern Montana, and you know, the jails are beyond capacity. Lewis and Clark County, 103 felon jail people in there, and they have capacity for 50, and there's people just sleeping on the ground, and the detention officers are working 12 hours, which is pretty typical, but they're on high alert at all times because they're low on staff, and they're watching over way too many prisoners. So, you know, and these are violent criminals. They're not just non-violent, you know, drug offenders and things like that. So, I would imagine that there's got to be some kind of push, and since especially our Helen office for the southwestern regions have been focusing on jail issues recently, that'd definitely be something I could look into, and I can get back to you on that.
Okay, that'd be great. And then the other thing with that is mental health.
Yeah.
Since funding has, you know, just really taken a nosedive in the last couple decades for mental health, our detention center is holding way too many people who
Right.
shouldn't be treated in a detention center facility, but for mental health issues.
Yeah.
So, and again, that's a national issue that trickles down to us, and we're left, you know, without the resources, because those have been cut, and yet we're the ones who have the problem, and there are friends and neighbors and family members. So we could use some help on that as well. And it's not just Broadwater County, it's all of us.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of a multifaceted issue. There's a lot of different groups that come into play when it comes to mental health. For instance, we're encountering a situation, and I'm not sure if there's an issue in Broadwater County with it, where the VA was having trouble like not getting medication to people in jail, just would not deliver their medication. Sometimes that would affect the mental health of the people there in jail. We also have instances of people being discharged from the military who should not be discharged, and they're just kind of being dumped on the sheriff's office or the county as their problem, when, you know, the VA has a lot of resources to be able to help with those types of issues. I went and toured Bozeman, and what they're doing is they are bringing in a lot more mental health kind of counselors and things like that to be resources for their people in their jail. And that's kind of how they're handling it, but they're facing the same issue. You know, they're like, you know, we're not here to treat mental illness, we're here to take criminals away and put them in a cell. And so, yeah, that's an ongoing issue, and I'd be happy to see if there's anything in the works on that. I know the state legislature has been kind of wrestling with that stuff the past few sessions, but as far as down the lines, I haven't heard of anything in particular to really, you know, take a bite out of that issue, but I'd be happy to get back to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have two more.
Sure.
SRS, Secure Rural Schools.
Yeah.
We heard that there was something coming up that we could count on it for this year. What do you know?
Yeah, it's tied up right now up in DC, and I was just visiting with Commissioner McGinley in Beaverhead, and that's his thing too.
Yeah.
He said, over anything, we need SRS funding, and so that's something that Senator Daines is working on. It's tied up, and it's kind of part. Some of it is part of that forest litigation stuff that they're working on. And last time I checked, it was in a conference committee, kind of going between conference committees. And so that's kind of the House and the Senate trying to come to a negotiation as far as what they're going with it. It does look like we'll have it this year.
Okay.
It sounds like there might be some pretty big issues with it the following year. But Commissioner McGinley was saying, you know, that they're kind of relying on it this year because they got some projects that they're already pretty much funded and they need that.
It was approved for this year. It's next year that's now being worked on.
Right,
and
right.
then the year after.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
All right.
So it looks like it's going to come through,
Okay.
but the following year will be hard. And so, yeah, I can give you updates on that. We don't. I think at this point we're just still kind of trying to wait to see what everyone's doing with it, trying to push it through, and then and I probably won't get that back to you until September because
Sure,
everyone's
I
gone.
understand.
And last time I checked, it was, and this was just before the recess, it was locked up.
Okay.
So there's nothing going on with it now over recess. So
Okay. And my last one is just please thank the senator.
yeah,
He's done good things for Broadwater County. We appreciate his work on PILT
yeah,
and SRS and all these other issues. So
yeah,
thank you for coming.
yeah. Of course. Thanks for having me.
Any questions from Patrick or you guys? No. All right. Thanks again.
Yeah, of course.
Any other public comment? Okay. Montana Minute. Franklin, you have something good to say about our community or our state?
No, what I'd like to say is that maybe just a quick moment of silence for Joan Hill, who passed away just the day after our last meeting. So we just have a moment of silence, please. She was kind of a faithful, she was here at almost every meeting, and never said anything, just sat back once in a while, she'd ask a question or two, so that's all I have. Other than, I guess, as far as the weekend, everything went pretty good. Other than that, from what I can gather, that hailstorm was pretty tough through here.
Yeah, I was driving around this morning, it's pretty devastating place.
Yeah, that's what I hear. Some crops, most crops went through it are completely wiped out.
My Montana Minute is just to salute our fair and rodeo. A great example of partnership, the way they have pulled together and put together a very good fair and rodeo this weekend and parade. Also, the hospital auxiliary teaming with the Cattle Women and Rotary put together the annual picnic. It used to be the Cattle Women's Picnic. We had a record turnout, and the people honored in the fair were our own Elaine Gravely and Bob Gravely. And so my real Montana Minute is Elaine. She really is a hero to myself and so many people. Elaine Gravely served under Bob Brown as his separate Deputy Secretary of State for many years. And what she brought to this job was not only institutional knowledge and memory as a long-term clerk and recorder for Broadwater County, but also in the Deputy Secretary of State's position, she was able to illustrate the vast differences between state government and local government. She really is a very wise woman, very strong woman, and she has my utmost admiration. So Elaine Gravely, I think, is my Montana Minute. Anyone else have anything good to say about our state or our community? All right, we'll move on to Commissioner's Community Update. Franklin, what'd you do this week?
Well, I met with the MDT on an approach, and I Tossin Radersburg fire training meeting. I was there with that at Tossin.
Any specifics to share, especially with MDT?
Not at this point.
Was that over the bridge?
No, this is an approach
Which approach?
on Flynn Lane.
Okay, anything to share with that?
Not yet. This was just some visiting they wanted to do with the landowner.
All right, so hopefully we'll get an update for public disclosure here in the near future. I went to a chamber meeting at the hospital. Very good meeting. We got some updates, they answered questions that the chamber has been fielding from the public. Great meeting. And just a bunch of small meetings. BOR, we had a meeting at the silos, and we need to replace some docks, which they will be doing. Also, a trust board met, and some things going on there. So, and we have also an update on the Deep Creek project. So with that, we have minutes here from June 15 and July 15th. And July 25th. Wow, we have a lot. Okay. So here's July 15, July 25, and June 15th. I'm gonna make this change here, and we'll ask Michelle to just make that change on the official copy. These were all emailed to us about 2 weeks ago, so we need to approve those. And they're sent out early so that we can all go ahead and read and offer any edits. And approve in the meetings.
We put June 15th on this. It looks to me like July 15th. Are these?
Was it
Yeah.
July 15th? It's just the second meeting. That's right. Okay, yeah, we'll change that back. And I'll explain to her what I did
I
there.
think it's the same as the. Is it the same as what we have?
No,
right
there were
here?
2 meetings. There was one in the morning and one in the evening. Or one in the,
July 25th, there was 2 meetings.
Oh, that's a different one, then. Okay. What's this one here? That's July 25th right there. There's double up, I guess, huh?
There were, Franklin, there were 2 meetings on July 25th. There was one in the morning here, and there was one in the evening in Three Forks.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll move we accept these minutes on these dates.
and pass those back. Franklin. Thank you. It's been moved, I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of July 15th and July 25th. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. And I'll have Michelle make that change again from my error. Okay, thanks, Ann. I just can't get into, we're in August. And there's one more for you. All right, we have timesheets for our department heads. I have reviewed those already. If you would review those and either make a motion or give your consent to sign, either one will work. We have a motion.
I assume they're all okay. I have no idea what they worked those, but I'll go along with what they wrote down.
Okay, so you're approving these even without a motion.
Yeah.
Okay, let the record show, there's no motion, but Franklin is approving the timesheets, and I will go ahead and sign. I can give these to Michelle. All right, we have just a couple of minutes before our first appointment. I see no COSs this morning. So we have just a variety of bills. First though, I will share this from the hospital meeting with the Chamber of Commerce. We have from December of 2015, the hospital has been in the blue, according to this chart. They have been actually making more money than they've been spending. So that's great. I don't know if you know the history of our hospital, Patrick, but the nursing home was closed down. It was July 2011. And when you have to rebuild a whole hospital and nursing home, it takes time. And for the last, well, since December, so the last 7 months, they've been actually reporting positive cash flow.
Great.
Yeah, we're pretty excited. And it's not only important to our, downtown businesses and people's lives, but of course to the entire county economy.
Mhm.
All right, so here's a couple of bills for you to peruse, Franklin. These are telephone charges, internet, that kind of thing. We also have a letter from DES and a CD of the updated pre-disaster mitigation plan. That will stay in the commissioner's office and anyone can use it from there. We have an association news from the Montana Association of Counties, or excuse me, National Association of Counties. We have a report on the revolving loan fund from Montana Business Assistance Connection. And everything is up to date. This is the second quarter ending June 30. There are no new loans originated during the quarter, and all existing loans are current and performing as agreed. And that's the opening letter for the information. We have an advertisement from Enneberg Excavation, LLC. We have an advertisement from CAT. We have Rural Montana Magazine with our own Tom Helm on the cover, and he also wrote a very good article. We have a request for a water discharge permit for the city of Livingston. Even though that's not Broadwater County, if you know somebody in Livingston, you might want to let them know. And we have the same for Stony Brook Village Condominium Association, also not Broadwater County. We have a letter from the USDA, Department of Agriculture, and this is, I think you were included on this, Dana, but what this is all road agencies, state and counties, and other federal agencies have been mandated to update policy with respect to their bridge inventories for the following reasons. National bridge inventory is aging and deteriorating. We all know that about infrastructure. Technological advancements in the nation's current trucking industry is using larger and heavier vehicles, and to ensure public safety. So we'll get you a copy of that if you don't already have one. Okay.
Dana, did you get this for Enneberg? They got portable crushing plant like Shelby.
No, I didn't.
You might want to look at this.
We will send that to Ann first, Franklin, and then make a copy for
Well,
Dana.
I just sent it right here.
Yeah, but we just need to
I don't
follow the
want
process.
Dana to know if he can look at it.
All right, 2 more minutes. All right, it's 10:30. Dana Rouser, Road Supervisor, monthly update decision. Morning, Dana.
Pretty good.
Good, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Good.
Good. Well, we got some road problems this morning. A lot of washing on Ray Creek. Got a call last night from Tom Schindel. I got some washing up there, right there at their cattle guard, at their lower cattle guard. So I took a drive up there early this morning, looked at that, and it's washed pretty much all the way from there, clear down this side of North Fork. Wash some stuff out in the road and whatnot, you know, it's got a lot of rain up there, so. Anyway, I got 2 blades up there right now, we're cleaning that up. We went over to, to our Leopard Gulch and Cottonwood and that, and there's some washing over there, so we're gonna go ahead and blade all that up there too, as long as we're up there. But we're gonna have to get North Fork and Middle Fork and the whole works, so. Anyway, probably have to haul a little bit of gravel up there below that cattle guard there.
Did they have the hail there too, or just heavy rain?
Just heavy rain mainly. You know, it seemed like the hail kind of stopped out, around Cottonwood, somewhere out in there. You know, Lambot's field up here on the sand hill here, I mean, it's cut right to the ground, I mean, it's,
Val
they
was
shake
saying,
it right off.
Val was saying Shirley Wilson's up, so it must have kind of swung back to the south a little bit.
Well, a little bit,
See, there was none in Toston at all.
Yeah, see, and I went,
Until they got to town here, when it was hails.
and I thought we might have had some washing over in Dry Creek, so I took and went over Clopton Lane and right there, about the old Clopton place, is kind of where the hail quit, you know, just right there. Anything north of that is got hailed out pretty good, but it's not quite as bad as it's right out here, so. Of course, and then Matt Foth, his bud field out there that he's got right next to Dennis Brown's out on Flynn Lane. And they just shredded them potatoes, I mean, just shredded them bad, so I'm not sure how they're gonna figure that. But anyway, we got that, and then we got some stuff over on Indian Creek too. In fact, I got a blade up there too right this morning. They had some washing coming down off their coal pile down off into Indian Creek, so I got a call from them this morning, and we're gonna burn what we can. TJ was up there, he said it wasn't that bad, but we're gonna burn what we can. They're gonna come down and pick it up because they can't let it get in the creek there, so. We're gonna come pick that up. I think Tom's up there right now. Burning that, so anyway, get that picked up. But anyway, we'll be out there waiting over here for the next few days. Expect to get cleaned up. Got all that stuff over on Pole Creek. Pole Creek and up above Hefner's gravelled last week. Got all that, got Flynn Lane gravelled, Nelson Lane, part 6 mile, part Dry Hollow, and the lower end of Dry Hollow. And other than that, that's about all we've done. But I gotta go clean some pipe out up here in Ray Creek too. It's got some pipe plugged and whatnot. And I gotta go help 4-H kids get their chips picked up too, so.
Nice.
I guess. Got plenty to do.
Yeah, no kidding. These storms leave us with not a lot of spare time.
Yeah, just luckily it wasn't any worse than what it was. It could have been worse, but anyway.
That's calls on Goose Bay Road, they said that's just getting bad.
It's getting a little rough.
And Dry Creek Road,
Where at? I just came down to Dry Creek.
I don't know just where it's at, but they said it was getting bad.
Okay, all right. I just came down, it was pretty good. I
Well,
mean, we bladed that bottom end of it last 2 weeks, week and a half ago.
That's the report I got there.
Okay.
These are calls, I never know what's up there. And Tossin Dam Road.
Yeah, Tossin Dam Road, I had an issue on that last week. Brian Carroll stopped me. He was telling me there was somebody up there blading that road from Dykes Cattle Guard to the siphon. Somebody with a little blade, and they're evidently from Three Forks, Belgrade, Bozeman. And they said they got the okay from the county and BLM to do that. So I guess I'm wondering who gave me okay.
I never heard a thing about it.
Yeah, they had rocks burned up right in the middle of the road.
When was this, last week, or when was it now?
Week ago.
They might have got some permission from BLM, that's BLM through there.
It doesn't make any difference.
No, but I say, maybe they got some from them, but
I
I don't
I
think
never heard a
BLM
thing about it.
Yeah,
I
don't
would
think
hesitate
BLM
before saying that, because we shouldn't be putting words in BLM's mouth,
I
and
don't
they
think they
never
did.
say, yes, you can do something to county
BLM's
roads.
never done that to me before. Right?
Yeah, I think we need to tread lightly on that
But
one.
Brian
Well,
said
they could.
he talked to, well, it wasn't him, it was one of the guys that worked there. Said he talked to the guy. They didn't get a name on him, but he said it was, they got permission from the county and BLM to both blade that road.
No, it's your
Anyway.
district, but no, I can't imagine that BLM said anything, and I can't imagine the commissioner would have, or your crew
Heard a thing
for
about it.
that, that's,
Okay, well, anyway, I called the sheriff's department. I think Dusty's gonna look into it, or has looked into it a little bit, so, it's kinda hard to tell who it is now. I mean, the
Yeah.
blade's gone. I don't even know whose blade it was, I don't know nothing, you know. So, anyway, if anybody sees a blade up there, let me know,
absolutely.
so I can find out.
Mhm.
Because I'm sure if they did it once, they're gonna do it again. But anyway, I had Will go up that day, and Will went and cleaned all the rocks off the road, and it was just a perfect little berm about just like that, about that high, right down the middle of the road. That the guy left, so. Anyway,
Good to know, though.
Okay, yeah, but anyway, that dry creek, I don't know, like I said, I just came down this morning, I thought it was pretty good. And I know we bladed that bottom end, because I knew it was bad last, week and a half ago, so. You get that done, it's still pretty good today, so. But there's a lot of these roads, I mean, we might be hearing some people complain, I mean, it's dry and they're getting tore up, I mean, people can't slow down, I mean, they're coming up by my house now, Lower Deep Creek, I mean, they're 50, 60 mile an hour all the time, so.
That speed's the biggest problem.
It is. If they just slow down just a little bit, it might help us all out a little bit, but just can't do that. So, anyway, that's about it. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you.
So,
Not lacking for stuff to do.
no, okay, right, so.
All right, thanks a lot, Dana.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
We can get you a copy.
I'll make a copy and put it in your mailbox, Dave,
Okay.
so.
We'll make you a copy of the other one too, just so you have an extra.
Yeah, do that, please,
Yeah.
get a hold of it. Right.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
Our agenda does say these issues and times are subject to change, so I'm going to subject to change. And 10:45, a little early, Brian Holmes, solid waste supervisor, monthly update decision. Good morning.
Morning. Well, the solid waste department fared the storm pretty well. As far as we know,
Yeah,
hail doesn't damage our canisters too bad, so we're in pretty good shape there. What we've got going on mostly is we've been busy. Last week, I hauled about 137 tons of trash to landfill.
wow.
That's busy for 1 week. We did have a couple of house demolitions though. We had the Rickmeyer house a couple weeks ago, and then this last week we had Vern Grimmer's house that burned here in town that they cleaned up. So that adds a little bit to our waste stream when that happens, but it was a busy week actually. Hopefully it will get back to normal again this week, whatever that is. And the other issues I've got going on is I had a vendor show up Friday to talk to me about upgrading our loader. It's the sales guy from Titan Machinery out of Great Falls. He hadn't been down in this country for a while. He's been with Titan for about a year and a half, but he hadn't been down to visit us. And I talked to him Friday morning and showed him our loader and talked to him about what we're looking for to replace it. And he sent me a note Friday afternoon with, he'd done some looking and found one that would work for us. So it's about the same size as we had. It's, with the trade-in of the one we have, he said it'd be probably around $71,000, $72,000. It's a 2011 machine, I think it is. It looks like it's a good machine. He said he could bring it in here on a trial basis for us if we wanted to see what it looked like and how it ran. It's 40 years newer than the one we have, so I'm sure it's going to run better. And it's probably got a little more power, but I think it's probably worth the effort to have him bring it in as a trial, run it for a week and see how it works for us. He said it would be no cost to us to do that. So I don't know how they do that. It's worked into the selling price. I'm sure that it's like a used car salesman. They get you in the car and it feels good, so you want to buy it. But I think our budget's in good enough shape for this year that we could swing to replace the loader. That'd be about all we could do for equipment-wise for the year. But it would be nice to upgrade one piece of equipment this year and look at future planning down the road. So, you know, pending you're okay, I guess, I might have him bring that in for a trial to see if it's gonna work.
Any issues with that, Franklin?
Well, I don't care about a trial use of it, but as much money as put in that loader last year, and a 40-year, oh, you know, a piece of equipment was maintained, taken care of, what little bit that's used up there. Looks to me like it'd go a long time.
Well, the solid waste department has used it for 20 years. And it was used for 20 years before that. We've maintained it about as best we can. Everything that happens to it now is gonna cost us more money. And that's why we had to put a bunch of money into it last year, because the undercarriage on it almost fell off. There's a lot of issues with it. It's loud, it's old, it's losing power. It's served us well. Yeah, it's still got life to it, but if we wait next year, we're gonna be looking at $85,000, $90,000 to replace it. I think it's worth a try to see if we can get it upgraded this year.
So you're okay with him doing the trial, correct?
I don't care about that part of it, but I'm sure have reservations before we're replacing anything. You say it's losing power. Like I say, from what you use it up there, I mean, I would guess it's got all the power it needs. You may just
You're more than
Push
welcome
it.
to come up and run it
push it on that,
and see what you think.
and just push it mostly into the.
And we haul dirt to cover our tire pile, we load compost with it, we move compost with it, we push trees up with it, we push our steel with it, we haul steel with it. It does a lot for us. It's a good tool.
Oh, I'm
And,
sure.
You know, it's getting harder to get parts for. You know, Cat didn't make their stuff to last forever.
You have my support because that's exactly right. 50-year-old equipment, yeah, you can still limp it along and you can still Band-Aid it for, you know, a lot of money every year. I think that's money going down the rat hole. At some point, you need to start looking at what's the most fiscally responsible. And at this point, it sounds like, you know, you're not going brand new,
And we're
And
not
it's
going
money.
name brand, it's a
No.
case unit.
and it's not a piece of equipment that sits and you use once in a while. This is a piece of equipment for you to just do the basics of your job.
Yeah.
So, you've got the two of us agreeing to the trial, and, it sounds like we might have to wait till we have our third commissioner here for, you know, the.
Well, it'll take a while to get it here, I'm sure, but we'll see what we can do.
Okay, I just think that, you know, if we keep hamstringing you from being able to do your job, you won't be able to do your job, so.
The other issue I have is kind of a general question to the county. Whose responsibility is it to take care of that area to the west of the canister site there, where those storage bins are sitting in the impound yard? You know, we do our part down there, but there's kochia weed in there 4 or 5 feet high. I don't have a mower at my facility. I could get one. Had a guy stop and tell me the other day he could sell me one that would fit on our skid steer for about $5,000. If I have to buy one, I will. But, you know, there's mowers around. I asked Dana where his was, and it's out on the road somewhere. But it's just an area that needs to be taken care of. You know, everybody kind of forgets about it.
Well, I would sure think that county one, the smaller one's been sitting there tossing stockyards for at least a month, just sitting there. They use the big one in different areas, and making sure when that comes back in, I don't see any reason why they can't get that done.
I think it'd be wiser to maybe bring the different departments together. It's county property, it's county responsibility. Maybe bring everybody together for a conversation and see how we want
It
to
just,
proceed.
you know, when they come in at the end of a timeout on the road, it'd take 10 minutes to run over there and mow it down. You know, we could do it with our skid steer bucket and just back drag it and bunch the weeds up, but it works better when they dry out a little bit. When they're green, they don't come up very well. But it's time taken away from our duties to do something that, I don't know if it's our responsibility.
Yeah. No, I think we could bring everybody together and just talk about it. It shouldn't take long. We should be able to come up with a plan.
Okay?
Yeah.
Other than that, we're plugging along. Oh, we did do some work. I borrowed Dana's vehicle counter that he had.
Yes.
Set it up at the city canister site for 2 weeks, just to get an idea of how busy that canister site is. And we saw an average of about 530 vehicles a day going through that gate.
Wow.
And that's pretty busy.
Mhm.
You know, various times a day, busiest time is probably about 2 to 3 in the afternoon. And then we see a bump about dark. I'm not sure why that is, but it's a busy place down there. That machine Dana has is pretty neat with what it can do. It gives you an average speed, size of vehicle, that kind of thing. And most of what we see is passenger vehicles. I was a little worried about the speed, but the speed is, you know, most of those vehicles were 15 to 20 miles an hour, so it's not too bad. We did have a couple that were a little excessive, but I think you're gonna see that anywhere. But it's good information to have. I think we'll try to either borrow Dana's equipment again and move it around the county to see what our canister site traffic looks like throughout the year. It's a pretty simple machine to operate, and it gives us some pretty good data to look at. So
That was a good investment.
it was, and they're pretty reasonably priced. You know, even if we had to buy another one for our department to use, because I know Dana's got some projects for his, they're pretty reasonable. So I'll see what my solid waste board says about that. We haven't met. We didn't meet in July. We won't. I don't know if we'll meet in August. Kind of wait until summer's over, let people enjoy their summer before we get at it again. That's about all I got.
All right.
Any questions?
Not for me, Franklin?
You know?
All right. Any for you guys? All right.
Probably in the future should get that sprayed.
It's
That
been
coast.
sprayed.
It was sprayed?
Dana sprayed it here a couple weeks ago.
Oh, but they were already
Yeah.
so tall and everything.
It-
Is that,
You know, and whose responsibility is it to spray it? You know,
well, it's
It's-
the county's all right if they,
well,
that's,
But who?
but who in the county? You know, we're all county. And I've got spray equipment that I take care of our solid waste stuff with. Dana's got spray equipment that he takes care of his road stuff with. But it's not solid waste ground and it's not road crew. So where does it fall?
like it should be worked out.
It's easy to say it's county, but who in the county is responsible for it?
It'll be taken care of in the future.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, thank
Keep up
you.
the good work, Ryan.
We'll try.
All right. We will go ahead and jump to mail. Franklin, can you hand back the rest of that mail so we can keep the stuff that needs a vote separate in the queue? All right, we have the approved claims from last week in the amount of $11,901.35.
That move to pay the claims in the amount you just stated.
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $11,901.35. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. We have a second set of claims. We have multiples because of the end of the year. Some are for fiscal year 16 and some for 17. This is for $16,709.09.
claims at the end of your invoices on that, and the amount that you just stated.
What was the first part? Franklin, what was the first part of your
Well,
motion?
basically, to pay that claim, there on year-end invoices that come in.
Okay, so your motion is to go ahead and pay these approved claims?
Yes.
Okay, I will second that motion. It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $16,709.09. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye?
Right?
And the third set of claims is in the amount of $3,420.41.
What were those? How come that's a separate one, or what's the deal on it?
Well, we actually had some claims that didn't get the second signature on them since we started requesting two, and they got delayed. So that's something we're gonna have to work on as a commission, is making sure that we all three do our job and come in and approve the claims timely, so we don't have a third set. So we need to go ahead and get those approved as well, Franklin.
How would we pay these claims in the amount of $3,420.61?
I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to pay the approved claims in the amount of $3,420.61. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. If you could give those your John Hancock or your fish hook, that'd be great. All right, we have a task order with the Department of Public Health and Human Services, and this is for the Maternal and Child Health Block Grant Program. And basically, they pay us in order to provide these services to our citizens. And we need a motion to go ahead and accept one more year. We've already approved this for July 1, 2012 through June 30, 2019. This is the task order for the current year.
I'll make a motion to pass that on, what's the name of it again? You call it
This
task?
is DPHHS Maternal and Child Health Block Grant. I'll second the motion. It's been moved and seconded to approve the MCH task orders from DPHHS. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. And then the other one we have is a grant, and this is with the Agency on Aging, and this is to provide in-home health care for seniors. This is for low-income seniors, and the sum is $14,713 paid to us from Agency on Aging, and this comes from federal money from the Americans with Disabilities Act. We need a motion to sign that. I think it's one signature again.
I'll make a motion for that.
Okay, it's been, I'll second, it's been moved and seconded to accept and sign for the Agency on Aging in-home healthcare services grant. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. And in the interest of full disclosure, I do serve as a board member on Agency on Aging, but do not have any personal benefit whatsoever. There's that. Okay, this is a follow-up from last week, and this is the scope of work for the Deep Creek project. And we just need to sign it, so I do need a motion to go ahead and sign. That was provided by Sean Higley this morning.
Move and, just a particular name on this, this ran on the Deep Creek project.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
Okay, I'll second the motion. It's been moved to second, go ahead and sign the scope of work for the Deep Creek project. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye, motion carries. And need to sign on the bottom there, Franklin. You could sign it, please, on the bottom?
On this last page.
No? On the very front page where it says your name, you could sign right above that.
Oh, I see there. That's a small print here.
Thank you. All right, there was a error this week sent out by Air Medcare on the air ambulance service that we approved for our citizens, and they are correcting that, but David did come in to tell me about it. The letter stated that it was $65 for the whole household benefit for the additional services. It's actually just $35.
Yeah.
So I want that just stated for the record. They did.
I remember
make
saying
that and send
35
that
when we
out.
were here that time. I was wondering how come it went up to 65.
The other thing is we got a letter from the Department of Labor and Industry that anyone who is making less than $47,476 per year can no longer collect comp time. They must be paid overtime. That is for salaried employees. Just bringing up today on that. This is a letter that came to us from the Broadwater Hospital District. That is required by law that they provide that to us. And then the last thing, and this is probably with another subject on the agenda. The building project for search and rescue, EMT ambulance, 4-H extension, weed mosquito discussion and decision. Basically, Franklin, we need to know in order to build the county budget where you guys are going to come up with the additional funding. So I'm thinking you probably want to postpone that until we have Nick here, or have you done any thinking on that you want to discuss?
What do you mean additional funding?
You and Nick have agreed to move to a different building project, a new building project. The price tag currently is about double what the old building project was.
We don't have that yet, that information.
Yeah, we do. We do have the estimates. They were all sent to us. But what we need to know for the budget is what your funding source is.
Well, until we get all the information, we can't even make a decision on that.
We have to. We have to have a funding source targeted before we can even put out the bid. That's why we get estimates. So based on your answer, I'm going to say you want to postpone so that we can have Nick here with some answers, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll table that until we hear back from Nick, for sure next Monday, potentially earlier, or during this week. So fiscal year 17 county budget, I'm gonna move that forward also, since these issues and times are subject to change. We got county valuations. Mike, I'll get you a copy of this, if you like. Basically, our valuations went up this year, and it's like a seesaw. When the valuations go up, individuals' taxes go down. The valuations go down, individuals' taxes go up. So this is really good news for our taxpayers. And the bulk of the new taxes is newly taxable property. That means new houses, new businesses, new construction, new equipment, new railroad lines, that kind of thing. So if you want to get together and discuss this element of the budget, I'd be more than happy to meet with you anytime, preferably over coffee. So, here's that for you, Franklin, that's the county, taxable valuation. And, we now are in the countdown. We have a legal 30 days in order to set the mills. That was also sent out. Do you have anything to add on the budget? Any goals that you've been looking at, any priorities that you've been setting, for discussion? Okay, we're gonna,
And would you make copies of both these?
those are your copies to keep, Franklin.
Oh,
So with that, what we'll do is just table that also until we have Nick for a viable discussion. Either to later on this week or to next Monday, based on the fact that we are in the countdown. Waiting until next Monday is probably not wise. That would just give us 2 weeks. Okay, is there anything else, Franklin, that you have for the good of the order?
no.
Okay, without Nick here, I just feel like our hands are tied to do anything. So, with that, any final public comment? Okay, this meeting's adjourned at 11 o'clock.